Martin Meldon Monday a couple of minutes late because the World Series Championship game is on. Tennessee leading right now. We'll stand by with the head quarterback. The quarterback for the head ball coach. Shane Matthews joins us. Coming up next right here on the Buddy Martin Show. Meldon Monday. Stay tuned. Watch with us and give us your comments about what is going on. Shane, you there?
Yep.
You watching this, Shane?
Watching what?
This ball game.
I'm flipping between that and hockey.
Hockey? I can't believe that. I didn't know you were a hockey fan, Shane.
I watch the playoffs. I mean, it's Game 7.
Yeah, right. All Game 7s are good, right? In anything you do. All right, we have a lot to talk about today, including what a weekend. Shoot, we could spend the rest of the time talking about Scotty Scheffler and golf, for that matter. So much going on, but we won't. Let's talk about the championship game going on right now. Tennessee, I picked Tennessee. Didn't look like that when the game started out, when the opening game, but the Vols got the firepower. They really do.
Yeah, I mean, they're the number 1 seed for a reason. I picked A&M when the World Series started to win it all. I'd totally forgotten that their best player was out with an injury, but still a ball game. Tennessee made pitching change, and A&M has a chance right here to take the lead.
Yes, they do. The caliber of the SEC baseball has been amazing. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Stand by. The Buddy Martin Show is now on the air.
Buddy Martin, call him up and tell him what you're thinking, but be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ? I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
We're waiting on the final here for the championship. Who'd have thought 2 SEC teams made it in the championship game down to Game 3? And what does it say about the quality of SEC baseball that these teams are so good? Of course, we know there were 4 SEC and 4 ACC, and Gators had a good run, but it didn't quite make it. You there, Shane?
I'm here. Oh, you were asking me a question? Yeah, I mean, look, the SEC dominates every sport there is. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. We wrote about that and talked about it last week. What a wonderful recent couple of months we've had with Gator sports. I mean, I'm watching track now. I'm even watching the Olympic trials. This Anna Hall is really something else. What an athlete she is. Have you seen her, Shane?
Yeah, she was a really good athlete here. You know, she's a transfer from Georgia that we got.
Yeah.
Yes, she's something else.
She is. She's from Greenwood, Colorado. Well, that's where she's been. She's from Florida originally. And she, an area I lived like 3 miles from Greenwood. And certainly the most famous athlete there, but she is so good. I've never seen an athlete like that who's slender, could throw the shot put and the discus and the javelin and run like she can run. She's a very beautiful young woman.
Yeah, I mean, that's what she did when she was in school here. Like I said, I believe she transferred from Georgia here.
She did. You're right. I looked her up. She's Georgia transfer, but she's a Florida girl.
Yeah. So. Yeah, the Gators have a lot of athletes in Paris for the Olympics.
It's going to be fun. When does that start, Shane?
Oh, I couldn't tell you, buddy. I don't really watch the Olympics.
Somebody online will. I mean, you will watch them this year because Florida athletes will be in it.
Well,
So-
Florida athletes are in it every year. I mean, if it's on TV or whatever, which it'll be
It's going to be every night. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll watch some of it. I'm not going to schedule my night or day around it. I don't really get into the Olympic sports.
Well, Shane, you got to broaden yourself a little bit here, dude. Come on.
Well, my horizon is very broad when it comes to sports, but
You're watching hockey,
I've
right?
never been a big Olympic guy.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to do with, I don't know. I think it's great, but I think it's a little strange to me.
Why? Why is it strange?
I can't explain it. I don't like the way they do the trials, because if somebody who is one of the best in the world has a bad outing, they don't make the Olympic team. And I think that's stupid. It's why I'm not a fan of series playing for titles, because, baseball and basketball are the only thing that do that. The other sports don't. It's one and done.
Yeah.
It's just like, in the Final Four, you have a bad outing, you get ousted, you're done. Well, why can't we play 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4? So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I do like it. I've covered a couple of them. I think if you go to them, you're going to get caught up more in them. And you're around the Olympic Village, you see the athletes, and you watch them every day. It's kind of fun. All right, we have questions for you. JLB has a question. Shane, how do you see DJ Lagway's role this year?
I personally don't think he will play much. I think they're going to be forced to play him because he was so highly touted, and from an NIL standpoint, you probably have to play him some. But this is Graham Mertz's football team.
Well, that is true, but don't you think they have a package? I think they have a package.
I mean, they probably will have to, but I'm telling you, buddy, I have been a part of teams that have done this with young quarterbacks in the National Football League, and college football is now professional football. If you pay a guy a lot of money, you got to play him. It's no different when they draft him in the first round. They're going to play him.
Yeah,
it happened to me with the Bears. It happened to me with the Redskins. It happened with me in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Whether I was playing or somebody else was playing, they always stuck the young kid in the third or fourth series of the game. And the players, the offensive line hated it. Everybody hated it because it just breaks up the momentum of a game. Now,
do you think the ones that'll play with the ones is what you're saying?
Well, it happens a lot in college football. He will play, but I don't think he will play as much as people think.
Well, my opinion, today's world also, where if you don't play somebody, they'll transfer. So
you can't worry about it. The bottom line is go win. You play your best players to win the game. And Graham Mertz is the best quarterback on the team, and you got to go win games.
Well, we disagree on that. I think he's the best quarterback. It's his team, but you got to find one package you can put him in there. Unless the game is like,
what if you put him in there and he goes in there and throws an interception, or
then that's part of it. I mean, part of it.
You don't. You can't.
You don't put him in a situation like that, Shane. Back him up on 3rd and 20.
I didn't say back him up, but
I'm just saying,
he could make a mistake not understanding what's going on, get hit in the back and fumble. I'm not a believer in that. That's my philosophy.
You kick off in the second half, you got the ball to 40. You put him in there for a few snaps, and see what happens. And get him going. I think you need to give the guy some playing time, in my opinion.
All right. Well, you asked mine, and I don't think he needs to play.
Oh, we don't always agree.
No.
We don't agree on that, but the bottom line is that he's a talent you want to keep around. And then, of course, there's always a possibility that Mertz could get hurt. It happened before. We've had guys get hurt. So anyway, just the theory people want to know. I was asked how things are going with the football team. I don't know. I don't have any contacts there. Scott Carter will be here in a moment. We'll check with him and see. But it sounds like things are going kind of well. Matter of fact, let's go get Scott Carter now and find out. He'll tell us. He's back from Omaha. There he is, Scott Carter. That's Scott.
What's up? Hey guys, how's everybody doing? You hear me
We're doing
okay?
well. We hear you fine.
I logged in, man. I saw you and Shane going at it. It reminded me of Stephen A. and Chip, man. You guys button heads. I like it.
Wait a minute. Am I Stephen A. or is Shane?
No,
Well,
Buddy asked me a simple question. I gave an answer. He didn't like my answer.
Why are you so argumentative, Shane, all the time?
I'm not. I'm just saying.
I don't know. Go ahead.
But anyway,
Scott.
you asked about the football, buddy. I mean, it's that time of year where there's not. I mean, you guys are here, so that's good. So they're getting workouts. But I was in Omaha, so I'm not even gonna lie. I haven't been back in the building since I've been back. So I need to hop over there tomorrow.
It's that time of the season where all they're doing is lifting weights and running. That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
But Shane, fans like to know that exciting things are going on, on this. Are there any signees, any commits? We've had a couple of things, a couple of players, things. Scott, I know you kept up with it. It feels like it's going well, but I don't really know. When people ask you a question, you have to be honest. It sounds like things, from what I gather, talking to everybody I've talked to, but on the program, there's a little bit of an upbeat tempo. What that means, I know, Shane, doesn't mean anything until you win a game. I get it. Don't jump on me about that. But you have to kind of feel the heartbeat sometimes, Scott.
Well, I think people are just getting excited that football season's within. We're like cross midfield now. The all season, we're driving down to about the 25-yard line. You can see the end zone down there. So I think that's the best part about this time of year, guys. At least in my view. I did pick up those preseason football magazines over the weekend when I got back into town. And I've been detached a little bit out in Omaha. So I was like, let's see what they're saying about the Gators. And, they had us, I think Athlon picked us 11th. Lindy's picked us 13th in the SEC, something like that. Yeah. I looked at the top 3 all-SEC teams from each magazine. No Gators were on the teams, guys. So obviously the outside doesn't think much about Florida from my little taste of a weekend. So, that's a good motivator for
how you want it to be, though, Scott, right? You like that.
If I'm Billy Napier, I don't mind it. I use that as fuel if you need some extra fuel. But this is also, guys, I don't have to tell you guys, you know how this is going to work. It's either going to go, I think, better than expected this year, or it's going to turn to crap pretty fast. Yeah. I don't think there's going to be much middle ground this year, fellas. So, you know which side I'm leaning toward, and I just hope that it works out. But they'll earn whatever they get this year.
A lot of momentum, Shane. A lot of people jump on the Miami bandwagon. Paul Feinbaum, one of them, talking about how good Miami's going to be. And if they get past Florida, they got a chance at the playoffs. I don't know how they got that good overnight. Maybe they did. I don't know if I'm seeing their players. But that's a 2-point game right now, and Miami's favorite. I don't know necessarily why, but I got a feeling Florida's going to win that game, Shane.
Well, they have to win it. There's no other way about it. Look, I'm not a big fan of Miami. I don't understand why people – look, Miami has never won the ACC. Think about that.
Yeah.
I think they only played for it one time, and that was when Mark Richt was their coach, I think. But they have never, ever won the ACC. They ain't winning it this year. Yeah. And they brought in Cam Ward, who I think is a talented guy, but I've said it multiple times on my show. He's been playing football for a long time. He started in Cornette Word, then he went to Washington State. He has never played in an environment, and he will not play in an environment in his college career like he will on August 31st. That's a fact. Now, people can say what they want to say about Billy. I do not think Mario Cristobal is a very good coach at all. So maybe I don't know enough about their roster, but they have not been very good in the weak ACC, and I just don't know how they can get that much better this year. And maybe they will, and maybe I'll be wrong and eat crow or what have you. But I do not see Miami competing for the ACC. And with our game, it's a must-win game for us. We have to win that football game.
I'd agree with that. Everything you said, Scott, you agree with that?
I do, because you guys know what will happen otherwise. You lose that game, and the noise is just going to go shooting through the roof the first game of the season, and that's good. That's not good for anybody when you're trying to, make or break your season. And also, guys, I mean, when I look at the schedule, Miami obviously is the early part that really intrigues me. But and then those last 5 games, my goodness, if you don't have a decent record going into November, it's going to be a tough ending to the season. So, but I agree with what you guys say. That is a huge must-win game right off the bat.
And pretty much all of them are must-wins really right now. So I think that sentiment is that you want to get him through the season. If he wins 7 or 6, you get through, and then I think the following year is the year they're going to be able to make some noise. Although Shane likes Graham Mertz a lot now, no time like the present, And I had to have a little talk with myself past weekend. I was doing a column about my attitude, which is to say we're complaining about the NIL, we're complaining about all this stuff, whatever. This is what we wanted, best on best. I've been writing about it for 30 years, how I would like to see a smaller group of teams, have a playoff system, play it down, have a championship. Well, we got it, folks. There are going to be 12 teams in the playoff this year. 12. Now, you can't tell me that's not going to make it a little crazy, because number one, just what I call residual impact of playing good teams every week, it takes a toll on your bodies. When you get to November, Shane, you know this, it's tough when you've been beaten up all year long, but it's good teams to compete later this season. And if you happen to have a back-end schedule as tough as Florida's, that's not a good thing. But by the same token, other people have the same thing, the same problem. They got the same issues. So I think it's going to be an exciting season. It's what we've been wanting, and bring it on. I say, Scott.
Hey, I'm all with you there. I think college football is going to be more popular than it's ever been in 10 years. I think it's just going to be mini NFL, whatever you want to call it. As far as this season, I think the most exciting week of the season might be that first round of the playoffs, when those playoff games are on campus.
Yeah, on campus.
I mean, that's just going to be that's going to be something we haven't seen before in college football. But I think with the fan base of the Gators, I think they're just waiting for Florida to be back in that conversation, because if this had happened most of the last 25 or 30 years, Florida would be in it. This season's a little different. You got to wonder if they can take some steps to get back there. But as far as the overall system and the game itself, it's going to be fine. I think it's going to be more popular than ever.
And Shane, that first weekend in Florida plays, there's some great games that whole weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great season, our schedule. You've heard me say it multiple times. I'm not one sitting here worried about the strength of the schedule. Let's embrace it, people. Every fan for the last 25 years has bitched and complained about Charleston Southern coming here and then this team coming here. Well, you got one so-called cupcake, Sanford, coming here, and they play in the SEC of FCS football. They're very good. So, look, as I've said multiple times, the guys that are running and lifting weights every day over there, they expect to win every game. They're not sitting there going, man, we got a hard schedule. We're not going to win any games.
Yeah.
Me personally, and this is not the homer in me, there's 2 teams on there that I do not think we can beat. I think they're really better than we are. It's Georgia and Texas. Everybody else may be on paper better than us, but remember, if you want to look at that stretch down the road, LSU comes here, if I'm not mistaken. Ole Miss comes here. Okay.
7 games in the swamp. 7.
Yeah. So look, if we don't start 5-0, I'm going to be very, very disappointed.
Yeah, well, that weekend when you got Miami at Florida, where's that game being played, Scott?
Miami and Florida's in the swamp.
Yeah.
I thought I saw one of those neutral site games. So Miami at Florida, you got Clemson versus Georgia. That's a neutral site at noon. Prior to that, night is Notre Dame at Texas A&M, and then Sunday is USC versus LSU. Man, in Vegas, that's quite a weekend right there.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of people watching football that weekend. I'll be right there with them. And
Yeah,
I'm like Shane. It's one of those things where I was never that excited when you see those Division One AA teams coming up on the schedule. I know coaches have to have one of those games here and there, but this schedule, man, every week's got something to look forward to. So,
Mhm.
it does make it challenging. But again, why if you're a player or a coach, I mean, this is what you signed up for. This is what you want. So, um, we'll see. I mean, I'm not much into predicting, but it's going to be an interesting season.
for sure. Listen to the Buddy Martin Show, Meldon Law, Monday. We're going to take a little break here and come back and talk to Scott about baseball. This is still a 3-1 game of the 7th. Looks like Tennessee may have a national championship. What the heck? So be a good time for the ball. Stand by while I tell you about Meldon Law. They, of course, are our fine sponsors. They sponsor a lot of things. University of Florida. They're an official law partner of University of Florida. If you like to get free tickets, I encourage you when the season starts, log on their Facebook page, Meldon Law. They give away tickets all the time, and you'll get a chance to get some free ones. Jeffrey Meldon, of course, a big Gator fan, and he's a guy that puts his money where his mouth is. And Meldon Law, they do practice law. They have offices now in Williston, Ocala, Gainesville, and Lake City. Check them out if you need a little legal help. Meldon Law, they won't back down. Okay. Omaha, the favorite thing you did, Scott?
Well, that's easy, buddy. Went to the Drover and had a big steak, man. I mean, come on. I mean, that was the best thing I did. But, the games themselves, it's always a good trip to Omaha. I've told you this before. I've always said if you haven't been out there, at least get out there once. The city really embraces it. And one thing I liked about this Gators baseball team, guys, the Gators don't exactly have a lot of underdog stories, right? I mean, most people in most sports expect the Gators, whatever they're playing, to win or do very well. So it was one of those rare years where you had a Gators team kind of come out of nowhere and surprise us. So those kind of teams are always fun to latch onto and see what they can do. And the Gators did not disappoint, going 8-3 in the NCAA tournament. Obviously, we were watching who I think is the best baseball player in Gators history, Jack Caglione. I mean, that guy just does stuff that I'm like, I haven't seen before. And I think Kevin O'Sullivan, once again, kind of, all those people who were tweeting at me mid-season that he should be fired, I didn't hear much from them out in Omaha. They weren't really tweeting at me too much, buddy. So, you know what? Good season for them, a good surprise season. Did this team have some holes? Yes. Did they get hot at the right time? Yes. But, Sully, he doesn't stand put long. So they've already added, I think, 5 players in the transfer portal. He's going to have some talent back. He's got some incoming talent, and they'll be right in the mix to get back there next year. But certainly in a different way. I think this Florida team, as I said, it was one of the more enjoyable ones I've been around in a while.
They were fun to watch. A lot of great stories. And, of course, they were right there with the team that's for it all right now, by the way, changing pitch.
It's funny about the transfer portal in like baseball and basketball. Well, not so much basketball. It seems like in baseball, I'm using Gator fans, for example, because, when a football player goes in the transfer portal, they raise hell that he's going somewhere else. In baseball, they don't care.
Yeah.
They really don't. I looked today, or I saw it somewhere, Scott.
4 or 5 players in baseball.
You're a baseball guy. I think we're only going to have 3 guys from this year's roster, like in the so-called starting lineup. That'd be if Shelton comes back, he could go pro. Cade Curlin could come back, but he's draft eligible as well. And then Luke, the catcher.
Yeah, Luke Heyman.
That's it. Everybody else is going to be new from the transfer portal.
Yeah, but that's the great thing. You're right in what you're saying. And I guess that's just because in football, the recruiting coverage is so intense that fans kind of connect to some of these guys before they ever get signed. In baseball, it's not like that, so maybe that's why the difference in reaction. But O'Sullivan has proven that he can rebuild a team pretty quick, and I like what he's done already in the transfer portal. I think the key missing ingredient this year was, besides Caglione when he was doing well on the mound, they didn't really have another consistent guy on the mound. And, Liam Peterson was up and down. So he'll go out and get a veteran starting pitcher. But it's kind of like they used to call it the hot stove league, guys, in the winter, the off season, all the baseball moves. That's kind of what the Gators are doing right now. But it's funny because Sully was already adding players before they were done out in Omaha. So that's just the way the schedule lines up there in that sport.
He kind of has an evolving roster. He got some guys this weekend. Well, I don't know if he's wanting them to leave or what, but what they have 4 or 5?
Yeah, he's always turned over the roster. It's one of those deals where I think if you don't fit in the long-term plans, he likes to, move on and get you another opportunity somewhere. We've seen that consistently with him, and that was before the transfer portal. So that's just the way he runs his program, and obviously it works.
For sure.
Exit meetings. Exit meetings. Scott, I don't think you're going to play much for us, but we'll help you go somewhere else, Scott.
Yeah, we'll help you.
Well, I mean, it's the way the game's played now, as you guys said. Certainly can't argue about how Sully's. And I got to tell you, I don't think I even – Scott, I mean, I think we were talking about this, Shane, when it first happened. I didn't realize it was 9 straight for Sully that is a super regional.
That's 9 in a row. Been to 10 of them, won 9 in a row, which is really hard to do.
9 in a row, yeah.
Hey, buddy, by the way, I saw in a publication, you know who the early preseason number 1 softball team in America is going to be?
Not Florida.
Yep.
Florida? Really?
Tim Walton's got some good stuff going on.
He's got a slew. The number 1 recruiting class coming in. Just got the shortstop from Alabama.
Have some great players coming in. You're right.
So that's the early preseason number 1. So
I was having
got to beat Oklahoma.
Yeah, with somebody today. If you had to kind of just right now based on accomplishments and you rate the Florida coaches, I think Mouse and Walton and Sully probably are the top 3. I mean, just based on what they've actually accomplished.
Agreed.
We're talking about the track earlier. We're going to be joined by Franz Beard in a moment here. And I've seen some of the athletes a couple of times, but, man, I think that Anna Hall is something else, man. She's such an athlete, and I've never seen a girl of her size throw the shot put that well. You know, to have Pepflon, you have to do all those things. Most of the shot put good shot putters are stout, She's kind of very sort of lithe, I guess you say. She's well built and slender and strong, and she can run like crazy. I mean, the heptathlon athletes are probably the best athletes in the world. And she is something else.
Great athlete. She had a good genes, guys. Her dad's got a similar background as Shane. He played quarterback at Michigan, David Hall in the mid '80s. And I remember doing a story on her last year, and I talked to him. And I think he came in a Rose Bowl and played. I can't remember if it was Harbaugh who got hurt or the quarterback after Harbaugh. This was in the mid '80s, but anyway, he played quarterback at Michigan, so she's got some good genetics, but she definitely works to do what she does because, as you guys know, that sport takes a lot of commitment and endurance and anything else you want to throw in there.
Meanwhile, the basketball program got a guy that's 30 feet tall. Oh my gosh! Franz says he's only what did he say, 7'6" or 7, but or 7, whatever it was. I read 7'9".
Well, he has grown a little bit since.
Yeah, he's 7'9".
Yeah, he's 7'9". They featured him. My son, he has the latest issue of the Guinness World Book of Records, and he heard about this kid on the internet the other day. So he brings in the book. It says, "Dad, is this the kid who's on the Gators now?" And he's in the current edition of the Guinness World Book of Records as the tallest, I guess, teenager, 7'9", one of the tallest people in the world. So interesting. I don't know how good he is, guys, but you put him in there, some people are going to notice.
Yeah, I had Chris on the show, and Chris let everybody know. Chris Harry from Florida Gator, Scott's partner, let everybody know he is a walk-on. So, he's a project.
Yeah.
Well, this is a guy who can tell us about him. He says he's only 7'6". Did you say, Scott? He is 7'9".
Well, I think technically with the shoes on, he's 7'9". I think he's probably about 7'7" or 7'8" without shoes.
7'7".
So, but hey, if you're 7'9", who knows? Maybe he grew a little bit since yesterday, for all I know.
And most people play basketball in their shoes, so
That's true. That is true.
the height in the shoes is the right height. But bare feet, he's about 7'7", 7'7.5". I have a picture of him with Todd Golden, and Todd's almost 6'4", and Todd comes up to his belly button.
Wow.
Scott, can you give us a rundown on the schedule for when we know we got SEC media days, when the workout, you know the dates when they start working out and so on and so forth?
I don't think it's actually been finalized. I would think it would be the last weekend of July. It's probably when camp will open, because we got to remember, guys, the season starts a little bit earlier this year. August 31st is the opener. So usually it's a good 4 to 5 weeks that they open camp before then. But I have not seen a finalized date, so I don't know if it's July 30th, August 1st. But, I mean, it's obviously going to be that last weekend, first weekend of August. And then you go through camp for, 29 practices still?
Yeah.
And then you play your games. So we'll see. I mean, I know it can't. I'm one of those people. I need a little break right now, but in terms of the fan in me, I can't wait for that game.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't wait.
All right, Scott. Appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for coming on the program. And we'll catch up with you again. Look forward to football season. It's going to be a very exciting football season, as we talked about. Can't wait for it to start. So,
yep. Going to be plenty for you guys to chat about. See you, fellas.
Scott Carter, FloridaGators.com. Appreciate it, buddy. All right. Franz, good evening. I know the score is still 3-1, right?
Yeah.
4th inning, and we'll see what's going on here. So
the Aggies just can't hit the ball with people in scoring position.
Yeah.
And it's killing them. This is where they're finally not having Braden Montgomery is really hurting them tonight, because they don't have anybody to really protect behind Laviolette, and having those two back to back, you had to pitch to one of them or the other. So it's hurt them, and I can't stand Tennessee, but I think they're going to win it right now.
Yeah. Shane picked and you think Tennessee's going to win it? Yeah.
It's 3-1, and the Aggies have what? They've got six more outs, and they got to score 3 runs to do it.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on what's going on. All right, Shane, who's on your show tomorrow?
You are, buddy. And then we got a couple people calling in from the Fighting Gator Touchdown Club to talk about some stuff they got going on.
Yeah, good bunch of guys out there. Plus my boys down in Ocala Quarterback Club. Mike McGinnis, those guys got good stuff happening. Shane, do you go out and make those speeches anymore? You used to make quite a bit.
Tennessee just hit another home run.
Dreiling just homered again.
I speak a little bit, not a whole lot, but usually to the Orlando Touchdown Club, and it just depends on my schedule.
Yeah, well, I know several people asked me about that. I said, I don't know what change rate is. I guess I could email you and find out, right?
Well, usually the clubs just say, this is what we're paying you.
Yeah, that's how I get it.
Yeah.
$50. Most of them pay me $25 not to come.
There you go. So,
yeah. Right. Shane, I'll talk to you in the morning, brother. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right, thanks.
See you, friends.
Take care. Bye.
All right, Francis, I'll take it home from there. And by the way, this program being brought to you, as I said, by Meldon Law, also by Titan MRI, which is a good group of people. If you don't know about them, you should. If you need an MRI, you don't have insurance, what do? Well, they will take your cash and your card. And by the way, they don't charge all that much. Their rates are reasonable. And if you can't be there during your working time, you have to have an appointment that's not during your work hours, on a weekend or nights. They will custom make you an appointment. So these people are trying to make it accommodating for you. Also, want you to have a good experience, not get claustrophobia. So they've designed their places there for you to go with bigger sports and the camera, so you'll be able to have more room. So if Franz and I go there, big guys get in. We don't like it because it's confining. Not at TitanMRI.com. Check them out. TitanMRI.com. Francis, what a weekend. I forgot to tell Shane, talking about Scotty Scheffler, 6th victory in golf. Wow. He is
He's
on
done
fire.
well.
Yeah, six. He's amazing. Arnold Palmer won 6 in a row won 6 way back today. I heard that stat today. So he's quite some player. Amazing. Shane and I were talking also about about the season coming up, the schedule, and how things are looking, and also Scott. It feels like, and we've discussed this a lot of times, it feels like there's some good stuff happening in the program. What have you heard lately? They seem like they're getting some more activity. You got a few other players. What's going on there, Franz?
I've heard that the workouts are just going phenomenally well. I'm also hearing that Graham Mertz is taking leadership to an entirely new level. We've known he's a good leader all along, but as I understand, he is just taking it to a whole new level there. And this is his team, and he is determined to play like the 5-star recruit that he was coming out of high school. And everybody I've talked to says that he's going to have a 5-star type of year. If he has a 5-star type of year, then the Gators are going to be really good. I think they're going to be in a position to score a lot of points. But here's the other thing, buddy. People don't understand, I think, particularly in the media, just how important getting these 3 safeties were. And going back and watching some of the film last year, Florida just got killed by the safeties. I mean, they really did. Safeties who didn't pick up the guy long. I'm not looking for another Reggie Nelson. There's only been one of him who's an eraser back there. But we've had some great safety play. When you think about the ones that Urban had with Ahmad Black and Major Wright, a great safety tandem.
Great tactics.
Good.
Great tactics. That's what's good about it,
And they hit people. They were, they picked off passes. They made plays. And everything I'm hearing is that the safety play, is just going to be outrageously good. This kid, DJ Douglas, who transferred in from Tulane, is a real ball hawk and a guy that can really strike people. The kid Asa Turner is like, remember Howard Cosell used to call. Dandy Dunn used to call Howard Cosell Univac because he had the thought, he remembered everything and so forth like that. From everything I've been told about Asa Turner, that's him. He's the guy that is just, you're not going to outsmart him. He understands everything. He knows everything. And you got to have a guy back like that who can be the traffic cop for the entire front, for the 10 guys in front of him. And as I understand, he's that guy. And the other guy they got was Traquezy Bridges, who, from what I understand, he's the guy from Oregon. And he's the guy that can play the slot because he's capable of playing corner. He's big enough, tough enough, and strong enough to handle an oversized guy, the kind that you see in the slot these days and things like that. And he's capable of being that guy. So if they've got the real help over the top like they had, I think they can make the difference of what we're looking for last year, which is last year we didn't have the help over the top. And if we can take just last year's stats, and if Ron Roberts can get the Gators to the point where he did with Auburn. With Auburn, he eliminated 4 first downs and he eliminated 7 points a game. You think about that. 4 first downs, a game gives you the football. Okay, that means if you're 4 first downs better, that means you got 4 shots at getting the ball and doing something with it. With this offense, I think they're going to be pretty darn good. So you look at this from that standpoint, the defense should be better. If the defense can get off the field, the Gators are going to win a lot of ball games.
I had this thought over the weekend as I was doing my column. We heard a lot of complaining about the schedule, about NIL, transfer portal, like a lot of belly aching about that. And I thought back, 30 years ago when I was writing columns about why they needed to break it down to only about 65 or 70 teams and have a playoff, have a national championship. What I was wanting. Now we got it. So let's not complain about it. I mean, Franz, we got 12 teams in the playoff. Mm-hmm. A lot of people got a shot here. Yeah. And by the way, the Florida Gators could be with them. They could win if they won 8 or 9. They'd be in the hunt someplace. But because you're playing,
here's the way you look at it, buddy. Okay, the group of 5 is guaranteed 1. Okay, the ACC, they'll get 1, maybe 2. That's 3. Notre Dame's got a pansy schedule. They're going to get 1. That's 4. The Big 12 is going to get 1 now that Texas and Oklahoma are gone. That's 5. So you got seven spots basically that are going to go to the Big 10 and the SEC. And I would dare say that the SEC will get at least 4 of those.
I don't know if they'll get 4. I think 3, and then we'll see. 4 is a lot.
Well, that would, for the SEC to only get 3. Again, if you just do the math, you're only going to get one group of 5, one Big 12 team. There's no question they're only going to get 1. Now, their league is not stronger in football. Now they certainly got better in basketball, and they picked up they picked up some steam in some other sports. But for football, they're going to be a 1-bid league. So that's 2. Notre Dame, I think with its schedule, Notre Dame becomes a team. That's 3 right there. So if the ACC gets 2, which I don't see them getting more than 2, Florida State and probably Clemson, that's 5. That leaves 7 schools. And I cannot see the Big 10 getting more than 3. I can't see that.
Well, you're not predicting the Gators are going to be in the playoffs, are you?
No, but I'm going to tell you this, that I think there's going to be 2 dominant teams, and then it's going to be a scramble for the other 3 spots.
That I agree on.
So, I could see the Gators being one of the teams in the hunt for one of those other 2 spots. Now, will they get it? I don't know. A lot of things can happen. You can have injuries. You can have so forth like that, and of course that's a pendulum that swings both ways, because everybody talks about how tough the Florida schedule is. You get to mid-season, and how many times have we seen the mid-season swoon when teams that were suddenly they breezed through those first 5 or 6 ball games, and all of a sudden they ran out of gas, which could very well happen this year. I think Missouri is one of these teams that can run out of gas early.
6-1.
Everybody's
6-1.
What's that? Yeah,
6-1 Tennessee. Yeah.
Everybody's on everybody is on the Missouri bandwagon, and they got a great quarterback and they got a great receiver. But I don't see that they lost their defensive coordinator. They lost a couple of key offensive linemen. They lost their running back, who was a stud. I don't think they're going to be as good as they used to be, or they were last year.
Okay,
that's a team that could go by the wayside. So Florida could get past there. I don't think the Aggies are going to be very good.
Yeah. All right. We have a lot of time to talk football. This summer we're watching the Olympics. We got SEC Media Days coming up. I think as we get closer to football, people are going to realize, as I did, wow, we got a great schedule this year. It's going to be one heck of a season. Meanwhile, there is some baseball news. I'm surprised no one has brought it up anywhere. Texas fired their coach in baseball today, David Pierce, after 8 years.
Yeah, that was coming. That was coming.
Yeah.
That's no surprise.
Years up on his contract. So now the other talk is that Tony Vitello might be hired by Texas. And of course, as you know, he coached at TCU. And now which UT is going to, is it going to be? Wouldn't that be something if they won the national championship tonight and up and left and went to, and he went to Texas? Wouldn't that be a story?
That would be quite a story. I think there's going to be there's going to be some more movement coming up. This is going to create a domino effect. I think Tony Vitello will be back at Tennessee because he's got the number one recruiting class in the country coming in. He's going to lose a lot of players, but he's got the number one class coming in. However, that being said, Texas has unbelievable facilities and backing, and Lord knows, you need money. They just call up some oilman and say, pump a few more barrels of crude today. We need some help. And no, only God has more money than the Longhorns. Mm-hmm. So that's possible now. But David Pierce, that was coming. The Longhorns haven't been very good. And this is a school that's won a bunch of NCAA championships. They've, other than Southern Cal, I think they've been to the NCAA championships more times than any other school. But they haven't been winning. They haven't won a championship in years and years and years. So I thought they would have fired him sooner, but it's not surprising that he got fired today.
Franz Beard, Buddy Martin, with the final minutes of the Buddy Martin show. Tennessee's about to look like to win their. Have they won a national? This is their first national championship.
Never have.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I don't know when the last time they won a national. The last time they may have won a national championship in anything might very well be the 1998 football team. That might be the last time they won a national championship in anything.
Yeah. Franz, I'm going to give you some football lines I got, and tell me what you think of them. This came out today. All right? I want to move to Temple, Oklahoma. Georgia minus 13 against Clemson.
Mm-hmm. I don't think Georgia will cover. I think that'll be a closer ball game than people expect.
It's in Atlanta, but by the way, I won't hold you to these. It was just a running game.
Yeah.
I'll hold Florida back. Notre Dame at Texas A&M. Pick them.
Again, I think that's more important for Texas A&M than it is for Notre Dame. I think Texas A&M has got to get off to a great start, and if they don't, I think they're going to have another 6-6 season, and they'll have people saying, "Why did we fire Jimbo?"
Here's a big one on Sunday after the weekend. USC is underdogs to LSU by 6.
I like Southern Cal. I'm not sold on Tennessee on LSU at all this year. Big shoes to fill in. I don't think they've got a running game without Jaden Daniels.
All right, one more. That's the only big ones. One more of Miami minus 2 at Florida. Florida underdog in the swamp, Franz.
I don't think the Gators are going to lose in the swamp.
And that might be a good play. You love those home dogs, That's a good one.
Yeah. And it's first game of the season. The fans are going to be jacked up.
Yeah.
And you know something, buddy? For for a rivalry, and I hate to call it that because we don't play them every year, but there's still a lot of animosity between both schools. They don't like us, we don't like them, and I just have to believe that Florida fans are going to show up as pissed off as they can be, and they're going to be raising hell in the stands. And I think we're going to have probably as loud a season opener as we've ever had.
Tend not to like those Miami Hurricanes around here.
Oh,
and
there's a lot of reason why.
Yeah, for sure. All right, final thing before we go to wrap. By the way, tell you about Ren Star, which we'll do in a moment. It's going to be an interesting. I don't think it's hit people yet how many Gator athletes we're going to see on TV from Paris in the Olympics, and I know you know some of them. On that, I've talked about Ann Hall. What a great looking athlete. Heptathlete, yeah, who are the best athletes in the world usually, and a few others. What do you think about them? What do you expect to happen? Do you see anybody else breaking through this? Is there a possibility of gold? What you got?
Well, Parker Volby. I mean, let's face it. Parker Volby is just absolutely amazing. Goodness, what a talent! What a talent! You know, the selfish part of me wants her back so bad next year because I think if she comes back, we win the women's NCAA championship.
She got hurt. She got hurt, I think, at Georgia, but she benefited greatly from Mouse Holloway's coaching by coming over from Georgia.
Oh, you're talking about that's Anna Hall. Anna Hall got short.
No, I meant Anna Hall. Sorry.
Yeah. Anna Hall's an amazing talent too. I don't know if she's still dating Shelton, but our great tennis player. But she used to. I told somebody once before, can you imagine the gene pool there if they got married and had kids? Oh my gosh.
Really. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun summer watching those athletes. I don't know if Parker Volby is going to win that distance race or not, but boy, she looks great. And
by the way, Wyatt Langford has a hit now, and he has just been hot as he can be.
Grand Slam last night, right? Or was it
Saturday night he hit a grand slam. But
he just scored a run.
Yep. But Wyatt is one of these guys that a lot of people have said, just be patient and he'll figure things out on his own. Yeah. Well, I think that's about what's going on with him.
Well, boy, he's going to be something else. He'll be popular out in Dallas, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, he's got 3 homers, 31 RBIs now. He's hitting 254, and that batting average, I would say that by the time August hits here, that batting average is going to be around 280 or so, and on the rise. I think it's going to be one of these, say, 17 homer, 75 RBI type of years, which should be great for a freshman. But what a talented kid, and what a humble guy. I mean, really, what an absolutely humble guy.
Franz Beard, the great one. You can read him on Gator Bay. By the way, if you haven't gone on and subscribed to this program, please do that. Also, go to Gator Bay. You'll see some really good writing in there, primarily about the Iron Duke himself, one of the most popular writers that covers sports and one of the best. Thank you, Francis. I'll talk to you next week, all right?
Appreciate it.
Great, Franz Beard. All right, folks, I want to tell you about Rinstar, one of our fine sponsors who've been with us a long time. And they are not only good because they are good people and because they do so many things to our community in Ocala, but also because they do some terrific work. The data on how to combat disease has to come from someplace to be given to some of these companies, these bio companies, and you do it through clinical trials. And they are among the best at that. Clinical trials, almost 800, maybe more clinical trials since they've been there in Ocala. They're doing these trials to find out what needs to be our treatment for whatever it ails us. And so they invite you to come take part in those if you're eligible. You can find out if you're eligible by going to rentstar.net. Check it out. In some cases, in most cases, if you qualify, you get compensated for time and travel. It's painless. It's something, sometimes you'll get special medications, sometimes special equipment others don't get, and you help us have better health because RentStar sends that off to biomedical companies, and the data is used in what they do in terms of making medicine for us. So please do that. Check them out. Go to rentstar.net. Remember, RentStar is seeking tomorrow's answers for the health questions of today. Good show tonight. Thanks to Shane Matthews, Scott Carter, and Franz Beard. Tomorrow night, we'll have David Whitley in a special treat. Boy, is he going to be flying high. He's a Tennessee alum. That would be Woody Page. Yes, that Woody Page will be on with us Wednesday night, and we'll get we'll go down memory lane together. Woody and I worked together many years, and he'll be glowing about his Tennessee Vols. So it'll be fun with Woody Page on Wednesday night. Have a great night, and we'll be back here again as we are on Monday through Thursday. Tell your friends and neighbors about us that we're here and that we love having you on, and we hope maybe we'll be able to have you on more and more in the future as we expand. We have a team together. We're going to be going to RentStar. We're going to go to Dallas for SEC Media Days. Lots of stuff coming your way. A great season. Great time to be a member of Gator Bait. I'm Buddy Martin. Have a good night.